Well, welcome back, everybody. We are back for season 2 of the Glass Cage podcast. I'm JH.
And I'm George.
We're going to come in with gusto. We're back.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess for everyone who is listening, it will be like, oh, it's been a month. But for us,
Well, it's been 2 weeks
yeah,
since we recorded. So, you know, it's a long time.
yeah, I guess. In the scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, in this busy time of year.
Yes, yeah. So today we'll talk, we're going to talk harvest weed seed management.
Yeah.
But we figured maybe we have a little chat about where we're at. So for everyone at home, not at home, you're in your glass cage. Hopefully you're in your tractor, in your chaser, in your...
the second home.
Yeah, the header. It's currently, it's the first week of October for us. So we're sort of getting ready for harvest. So what are you guys up to?
We're doing a bit of fencing.
Yeah, you got to watch those crops.
You got to keep them. You got to keep them boxed in for harvest. A little bit of fencing, just the usual sort of harvest prep with machinery, sort of just maintenance.
Yep.
And we've finished up our hay and silage program. So that's.
Oh yes, yeah.
I guess you could say that we have actually started harvest.
Yeah. No, you could.
So I'll claim it anyway.
And you guys getting ready to spray anything off at Desiccate?
Yeah. We'll be desiccating canola at Cascade end of next week, maybe.
Yep.
Just depends on when the plane gets here and what the weather does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not quite ready to go yet. So yeah, we'll get onto that as soon as they're available.
Rogie.
Yeah. Be good.
No, so we started spraying today actually. So we've sprayed 350 odd hectares of canola.
Yep.
And then we're holding off for the rest of it. We'll do next week because it's our germination this year was, as we've talked about on this podcast, was crap.
Staggered. So
yeah, very staggered. So we've got stuff that's pod shatter and stuff that's way too green.
Yeah.
So now it's just trying to find that fine line of when you spray, when you do your counts, we're anyway from 40%, but also down to 10.
Yeah. Well,
so it gets.
We knew it was going to be.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It's like the footy coaches, come to this time of the season, we knew it was going to be difficult.
So we've got that to deal with, but we got the agronomist out tomorrow. Actually, we're going to go have a look at some barley that I want to regline because I want to just get onto that. If I don't regline it, it will probably nearly be ready the same time the canola is anyway.
Yeah.
But I'd rather it be ready. Definitely know it's ready. And I can get that because for us this year, our money crop is going to be barley. So
yeah, get in and chase the ice.
That's it. But other than that, headers they're brand new last year, so there wasn't much to do to them.
Hopefully not.
You'd hope, yeah. The Terminators, we'll get into Terminators, but that was a big service on them this year.
Yeah.
And we're just doing chasers. We've got stuff that the chasers need fixing on.
Yeah. All the stuff that you nurse through the end of the season and just forget about until this time of year. And
it's come like beginning is getting towards seeding. You're like, we could pull the chaser bit out and work on it, or we could leave it until just before harvest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's always the way. No pressure, no diamond.
That's it. That's it. That's it for us. We'll probably be harvesting in 2 weeks from now, but
yeah, it's creeping up. But I mean, sort of looking around at the crops now, just you get that feeling like, right, let's just get into it. Rip the Band-Aid off and let's get some in the bin.
Yep. No, that's it. So let's dive right on into our discussion today. The old HWSM.
You're gonna break that one down for us?
Harvest weed seed management. So it's something we all deal with.
Yes. Yeah. It's
one way or another.
Yeah. Yep. Now that I'd say, now that livestock's started to decline.
Yes.
Well, in our district and through the wheat belt, maybe not so much, but since the livestock have come out of the system, then the harvest weed seed management has to really, really improve and increase.
Yeah, it does. It does. So there's lots of different techniques. So we'll start with the original, the OG, the old chaff carts.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be the first one that we really had anything. I don't know if chaff would windrow and burning, dropping it straight down into a windrow, but not narrow, and then maybe letting the sheep get through it, or
back in the day, probably, yeah, if people had a bad paddock, but
to really nail down and do this
to
as
focus
a
on it,
purpose, separate the straw from the chaff and collect all those fine weed seeds in the chaff and put them separately.
Yeah,
that's the chaff carts.
Yeah, yep. So you don't actually see too many getting around now. Yeah, I mean they're still out there. You go past Lake Grace and you see all those the chaff dumps there as you go along.
Yep.
But you go to the field days. It's not really the big thing anymore. There used to be, but
I guess they've always been a bit of a stopgap measure.
Yes.
The chaff cart and then chaff dumps all in one area of the paddock. Then let either the sheep go through.
Yep.
Because there will be grain in there as well that they can go and lick up. So there's a fair amount of feed value in those for the summer months. But then you've still got to go and either burn them, or deal with the weed seeds, or go and spray those areas out once the weeds germinate.
Yeah, and if you've had a particularly wet summer, those mounds can get pretty gross.
Yeah, and you might not get an effective burn.
Might get a good burn, yeah. So no, we never did, but our parents did. They ran our dads. They ran the old chaff carts that they made themselves. Because they never bought anything.
No. Well, need to get in and do it. So as they do, they just get on the stick welder and make it happen.
Yeah. So they had that. I remember going around with Dad and a shovel that was on fire, and you'd go around to the piles and burn them. But they didn't last very long.
No, there are. I guess now there's so much more monitoring and electronics that's available to do that effectively, so you don't end up with like big blockages, or you don't just have a blinking red light that says full. Like you might actually have cameras at the back to alert you as to what's happening. So they've definitely progressed. It's not like they just they were invented and then that's what they are. But they've sort of gone by the wayside. I know there's some that are still kicking about up in grass patch salmon gums. Very it's a difficult one for a number of reasons, but it's still very effective.
It is, you're still concentrating your weeds, which brings us into the next one of the old narrow windrow burning.
Yeah.
So that's what we did for quite a lot of years, is we narrow windrow burned.
Yeah.
It's effective.
Yes, if you can get the conditions right for your burning.
We'll get into that. Yeah. So we've done it on all paddocks, so wheat, barley, canola.
Yes.
And we've learnt. And canola is always our break crop.
Yeah.
So we then decided, okay, we're just going to do windrow burning on the canola paddocks. We're just going to windrow the canola because you get a nice tight windrow and you can burn it. You get a good hot burn. And it's not going to get away.
Yes, yeah.
It does take longer to burn because it is such a it's canola.
Yeah. It's not all that chaffy cereal stuff that once she gets going comes through.
Yeah. So that's one of the issues with narrow windrow burning is you've then got to go and obviously burn.
Labour intensive.
Very. Yeah. The old out the arm with the old fire dobber.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then you had someone on the back of the ute with the old dobber.
RP row. I guess that's where the chaff dumps. At least if you get one to burn, then it's burnt.
Yeah. We ended up buying an AccuFire.
Yep.
And doing it that way. But you're right. If a header's reversed up or done a loop, and you end up missing, and it's not until you come to seeding, you're like, hey guys, there's like quite a lot here that hasn't been burnt, and
then you're out there trying to do that, and it's a half job. But it is the cheapest way, because all we need is just a chute.
Yeah, you do have to engineer the back of your header, but
disconnect a couple. Well, I know the old STSs, they were just do the chopper, wind it up, and then down it goes. But there's very, very low outlay of cash, and very effective if done correctly.
Yes, yeah. So we started to obviously ryegrass is a big issue.
Yep.
But marshmallow is obviously starting to be a big issue.
Yeah.
And we had noticed that marshmallow was now growing in the middle, where the header goes. So it was growing out from the burn row.
Ah, yeah.
So we were doing a very good job at concentrating it, bringing it in.
Yeah.
But then, well, I guess the fire wasn't getting hot enough, or maybe it didn't burn on a good enough day.
Yeah.
And then we were just noticing that instead of marshmallow being randomly out in the middle of the paddocks, we were noticing it in lines.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So
stripping it up.
Yeah, so obviously the windrow worked, but the burning didn't. So
yeah, well, and again, if you, like you were saying about learning to do it in the canola, if you do it in the wheat or the barley, then it tends to just work really quite well.
Yeah, you lose your paddock.
You've got no paddock left.
Yeah. So there is the option, because obviously windrow, doing that, the narrow windrow burning it's everything. It's straw and chaff.
Yeah.
Or you go your guys' route.
Yeah, chaff decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get the chaff, or chaff lining and chaff decking. Similar, but chaff decks just put it out onto the wheel tracks for the controlled traffic.
Yep.
Instead of just leaving you like with that one strip, that one concentrated chaff strip that can tend to do what you were saying about the stripping.
Yeah.
We put it down onto our wheel tracks, and then we're running over it. And we've noticed that, we're getting stripping, but it's a stopgap measure.
Yes,
so until we can afford to get into like seed destructors,
yep.
Then this is the best way to stop that spread further out.
Yep.
And on the boom spray, we've got over each tram line, you can put on a different nozzle.
Oh,
that, penetrates down in
more.
And straight behind you.
Yeah, because the other idea with that is it's meant to rot, isn't it? So
yeah, it mulches down.
Yeah.
It is a concentrated nutrition strip as well, which after we've been chaff decking for
ages.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
I was going to say 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, you were one of the first to buy a unit from town.
Yeah, yep. We were pretty early on in it. I wouldn't say first. There was some that were
yeah
in the development stage, but we just bought commercial off the shelf ones. But we've been on the same trams for that amount of time.
Yep.
And we've I noticed that it rots down, and you end up with this like mulch layer that the weed seeds can maybe get going in, but you drive like the ones that are at highest risk of blowing out and becoming a weed burden are the boom trams.
Yes.
But they're also the ones that you're running over all the time.
Yep.
So we know that the wheat or the barley or canola that grows in that row that's seeded right on the wheel track pretty much amounts to nothing.
Yes.
Because of how much we're running over it.
Yep.
And we do see the same thing with the ryegrass.
Yep.
It just gets trammed, and it's very hostile for it to try and penetrate into the ground. And
it's
like trying to grow in concrete, which we know that some of the weeds can.
Oh, they can.
But
So you obviously own one. Well, we know the pros. What's a con for having the chaff deck?
More moving parts at the back of the machine, little belts and stuff.
Can you block them? Because I know
you can. Yeah, you can block them. I haven't really ever blocked ours. I'm just trying to think of a time that I have. Only when I've had an issue with like the belt tension. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like if you pull up at the end of the run, you don't need to reverse up and keep moving and make sure it all falls out.
You do. So you can block it up into it.
Yeah.
But it's quite a wide belt and it's all just chaff. So, you can end up with these little speed bumps. If someone has just pulled on the hydrostat and then stopped, you might end up with a little lump of chaff.
Yeah.
If you do stop and you don't sort of just back up a little bit or whatever, then you can, cause those things that make a sprayer driver at 2 a.m. wake up.
What about last year? So wet and you're bogging down.
Yeah.
Are they an issue then? Like, or if you're going to like a creek crossing, or because they are quite low to the ground because they have to be.
Yeah. So they've got breakaways.
Oh, they do break away?
Yeah, so they can break
okay.
away.
That's all right.
And you'd remember I had mine underwater. It was sinking quite rapidly in one crab hole. But yeah, we minged up one of the frames a little bit, but it was you just bend it back down.
Yeah.
Pretty robust. Built in air sprints. So.
Rogie, well, before we get on to all the destructors and everything like that, there's the other way, which a lot of people do when they go swathing. And
Yep.
Swath and spray.
Yeah, swath and spray straight underneath. That's as much the desiccation timing, sort of, but it's a bit earlier.
Yes. Yep.
So actively getting those plants before they've matured correctly.
Yeah.
And it opens you up to a bit better chemistry as well. So so long as you're not putting paraquat underneath.
Yeah, you got to be very
windrow.
careful with it. You got to do what's in label. You can't
You can't go
be a
off
cowboy
label.
because you're going to ruin it for the rest of.
Yeah.
You know.
So either sprayers, if they've got a sprayer bar that then goes underneath the windrow, then that restricts your chemical that you can use. But yeah, the spray swath, very effective.
Yeah,
It's very good.
yeah. I mean, we have never done that. We don't have the facility to do that. We used to swath canola back in the day, but that was with the header fronts. And they could go out on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
But never did any spraying. But never got weeds, mate. So it was all right.
Leads us into the question of why have you got seed destructors?
Oh, that's because of the weeds.
The spray swath, guys who are in the swathing system, it's just a done thing.
Yeah, it's another tool in your toolbox, isn't it?
It's just done. It's that's why you see so many of the the nitros kicking about.
Yeah, it's a very handy piece of equipment when you use that for swathing.
Yeah. So I mean, we haven't swathed in a good number of years now, but yeah, it's.
Now, I know we'll get the question. We went away from swathing because we couldn't grow big enough canola, essentially. Our average for canola in the last 10 years would be about 800 kilos, maybe 900 kilos.
Yeah.
It's not huge. And the reason we got away from swathing is the wind.
Yeah.
We were chasing windrows all around the paddock. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Now, maybe on a now I reckon we'd be all right. We're growing a lot better canola. Still maybe around that, it's definitely going to be around that 800 kilos this year, but, it's probably a bit bushier that it might be better on a windrow, but that's why we got away from it.
Wider fronts as well. So
yes, we were under 36 to 40.
Yeah, the extra couple of meters might
could
build a
help.
bigger windrow. Maybe, but I just I don't like cleaning rocks out of canola samples.
Yeah, and multiple passes.
Yeah,
we've already done enough passes over the bloody canola this year.
yeah. It does down in the coastal areas. Lets the headers keep going a lot longer.
It does, yeah.
Once it's dry in a windrow. Same for barley. When we were swathing barley, once it takes longer to dry down in the windrow, but it also takes a lot longer for it to come back up again.
Yeah, no, it's a very handy tool in that regard. Yeah.
So
anyway, let's get on to the old destructors.
Yeah. So you've had yours. You've only had one set.
Yes.
Yeah. And you've changed over from the old headers to the new headers with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've got seed terminators, as we might have already addressed that in some episode.
Yeah.
But
Sponsorship deal.
nope. Trust me. They tried to sell me 2 seed terminators yesterday.
No.
To upgrade. They have obviously got extra stock in town, and the price just wasn't doing it. So those 2 units are in town if anyone's looking for them. Anyway, we went to see Terminator. We are like serial number 48, 49 or 50, 51.
Yeah.
We're low.
Yeah.
And look, they have been amazing for us. For anyone who doesn't know what the Terminator, the Weed Hog, the Reddy Cop and the Harrington.
Yep.
I think there might be another one. I think that could be it.
That's all that comes to mind.
Basically, they're all the same, just driven differently and just have different mills and the way that they get the grain. But essentially, it's shearing or brute force or impact, crushing, and all it's doing is it basically spins really, really fast inside. The seeds go in there and they basically turns to dust.
Gets milled.
Milled. I think the idea came from the old rock crushers from the mines.
Yeah.
And they, implemented it smaller and into headers.
Yeah.
And look, works amazingly. There are a few cons which I'll get into because might as well let everybody know. But pros are it's fantastic. I think we've seen a decrease in our ryegrass, which is good.
Yep.
We've also noticed that we are not doing a summer spray pass now when the neighbours are.
Yeah.
Because they're getting that early germination, whether it be volunteers and our volunteers are just, getting...
They're now flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's also a positive in that way.
Yeah.
Yes, you shouldn't be shooting it all out the back of the header, but...
If you are, you may as well not be spending chemical on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So that's been amazing and a method of not having to spray is amazing.
Yep.
And also not having to burn.
Yeah.
We've been burnt in the past with burning.
Yeah.
To the point where we burnt the whole paddock intentionally. We weren't doing rows at the time, but we had, a ryegrassy thing, paddock, so we burnt it all. And then when we went to seed it, it was beautiful. We could get through with the seeder. It was amazing. But we had a really windy year that year, and as the canola was germinating, the sand was coming through.
Yeah.
It was eating away the canola.
Yeah.
And we had to reseed that paddock, and it was lucky that we had so much wind because it got rid of all the atrazine. We seeded it to barley, did 3 ton. So we say it's our best ever canola paddock.
Yeah. But that's the big risk of...
It is, yeah.
Yeah, whatever you do, you're going to have... There's repercussions to whatever decision you make.
You choose, yeah. Now, some cons, it is really dusty.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure about... I can't vouch for the other ones, but I can...
Guaranteed everything that is pulverising seed out the back of a combine is dusty.
Yeah, so we never used to have to blow out the radiators of the chase tractors.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we're doing that every day.
Yep.
Because it just shoots straight out, and depending on how slow the chaser is coming through the dust, it just blocks them straight up.
Or which way the wind's deciding to blow that day.
Yeah, no, that's it. And the same with our air filters on the headers. We'd go from doing them once a year to once a season to doing them, 4, 5, 6 times a season. So there's that. The other thing is because they were all of them have got it now, but ours were the originals. They didn't have a mag tray. So any little bolt that broke off, any piece of sieve that broke off,
bit of fencing wire that's
come through.
Yeah,
you left a nut when you're changing a knife section. That goes through. It goes through a Terminator, which is a rock mill.
Yeah. It's
Spark.
A lot of flails and
Spark.
Smashing steel
so
together.
We've set 3 fires.
Yeah.
We've had 3 fires from the Terminators.
Yeah.
And then finally, Seed Terminator said, we've got a retrofit kit for you that, we can, that's a mag tray. So as soon as they finally had one, we got one.
Yep.
But, all the new ones were coming out with them. But no, we haven't got it for yours. It's not designed that way. But eventually they did.
Yeah.
And we got it straight away. And my goodness, the things you find on that mag tray.
Yeah. So how often are you cleaning? Like obviously each day when you walk around, you go and check. But how often are you finding stuff?
Look, it might be nothing a season, or it could be, my sieves, my chaffer was starting to, in the John Deeres, the chaffer will start to lose its flails. It's getting beaten up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every day you'd open up, you pull off a couple more flails, keep going.
Oh. Oh well, it's better than. Yep, that's on fire again.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Look, and now this is just with Seed Terminator, but when we went into like a paddock of, like a little patch of green canola or green radish, you block them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now that's not. I'm not bagging Seed Terminator. I love them, and I'm definitely going to go another one when I come to my next header.
Yes, yeah.
I think they're amazing. Like they do the job.
Yeah.
You just need a buyer beware. You need to know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, like there's pros and cons, but there's also there's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
And if that means that you can't push really hard into green canola, and you might have to wait for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then they've also got they've seen the problem, and you can get a high flow mill.
Yes.
And then there's another mill, but we've got it. So you instead of having the 3 cages, it's now 2.
Yeah.
So you're still getting that 95, or instead of the 99, it's either 95 or 85% kill.
Yep.
But you're still killing, and you're still able to go now without that threat of, oh, am I going to block it?
How difficult is it to change them out?
It's a couple hours.
So like if you say if you had the high flow and then the original like high, I'll say weed kill version, the 3 cages.
Yeah.
If you looked at the beginning of like harvest and you went, okay, everything is crispy dry, we're not going to have any issues blocking this. Could you then just go, okay, yeah, we'll put these ones in and we'll save those ones for...
Yeah, you could. It's with the new Terminators, it's a lot easier to get to everything.
Yeah. Because
we've got the old ones, it's a bit more cumbersome to get everything out and change them over. But yeah, the new ones, which are, they're a lot better. But
it's not that big a job.
But it's they're heavy. You just got a 2-man lift.
Yeah.
So anyway, what there is the idea of the future, microwaves.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you're like, never going to see it, and I agree. Like it's an idea that had been floating around for well over 10 years now. But there was I think it was Dr. Graham Brodie. He was doing a lot of work on sterilising weed seeds with microwaves.
Yep.
And it was working, but high power usage and obviously the safety issues of having exposed microwave.
In the back of a header.
Yeah. He was doing it in windrows afterwards, and would sometimes have the unintended effect of stimulating a germination. So yeah,
there's too many microwave.
Things needed to be perfect for it to work. But yeah, I'd always thought, one day we're going to get away from mechanically smashing things up or physically going out and burning things. Maybe we can just irradiate them and we won't have to worry about it. Like, you just do it in one shot.
This stems to Jack's idea of the laser cutter bar.
Yeah. That was a very half-baked idea.
You're going to need to have a fire unit behind you to put out the burn that you've just done.
Yeah, you can see where the thought process was, though. He goes, those knives keep hitting rocks and that causes fires. So if we use lasers to cut it, we'll just start the fires. No. But it was, I'm not sure what else is in the works for the future. I know that, like you're saying about the development of the mills each year, like Redicop.
Yeah, they're all getting better.
Yeah, and they're always improving as it goes. So I think there's going to be it's just going to be constant improvement and hopefully reduction in cost.
Yes,
It's the barrier to entry is quite high to get into what we'll say is the Rolls Royce of weed seed management, which is any of the
mills,
of the mills. But yeah, if they can bring that down. I know that Weed Hog were. I'm not sure what's happened with Weed Hog. There was a big stir a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and then they've sort of gone quiet, haven't they?
Gone quiet. Yeah. So I haven't kept up with where they're at, but I was quite excited about that sort of 85% gain.
Yeah, you're still doing something.
You're still doing something. The cost point was way lower. So that's I think there's a fit for that in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing something. You can't just let your paddocks grow.
Yeah.
Weeds.
Unless you're planning on going into a ryegrass pasture and grazing it the next year, but not many people are. So
no.
Yeah. You can't kill all your weeds because you need something for the sheep to eat.
I don't have sheep, so
yeah, you got to kill all your weeds.
I got to kill all my weeds. Oh, Roger. Oh well, with that, I reckon we'll leave it there, eh?
Yeah, let everyone stew over something in the glass cage.
Yeah, and don't forget to reach out to us on the pod, guys, and let us know what you're up to.
Yeah,
tag us in some photos or something. We'd love to see it and
show us what you find on your mag trays.
Yeah, probably a hammer.
Yeah, something like that. That'd be scary. But yeah, don't do it deliberately.
It was for the pod.
Yeah.
Oh, well, guys, we will be back next week.
Roger.
See ya.
See ya.